Are we never
Yeah.
are we always late?
No, we like the last few times it was always on a different day, or it was an hour early or an hour late. It was literally the first time we've been on time.
That's not very German of us.
Nope,
Okay.
kind of crazy.
Um. So what's the plan for today? We have like 40 more minutes, right? Of like 50.
Mhm.
Do we skip week stuff or do we go over it like
Yeah, yeah,
super
yeah.
quickly?
We can go super quick.
Yeah. So I can start. I cannot tweet about it anyway. I can also pull up the tweet, I guess. Um,
Dude.
collapse this. So I worked on this UI. You've already seen it, Konstantin,
Yep.
but I polished it up a little. Actually, what was the most interesting part, honestly, was this deployment thing right here, right? Because we have certain actions. So I don't know if you've seen. It's kind of. So we have this, right, where basically these workflows they work in different environments, and then depending on which environment they run in, they based on which actions. So basically, there's like a slight mismatch. These nodes are actions, right? So that's like a naming mismatch because here it says add node, it should actually say add action. But what's interesting is this, right? Where, for example, this workflow that schedules a meeting, it should not be able to run in the sales assistant app, right? So the sales assistant app, it's placed in the showroom, like in the car showroom.
Mhm.
So
Okay.
there's no phone number, there's no email, right? So there's no way to book a
Mhm.
meeting. And we have obviously this is like the first few actions we have, but this is going to come up. There's going to be all kinds of different stuff, right? Also, we have like internal actions and workflows that can only run inside the employee chat, right? So it can't run externally at all. It pulls like I don't know financial data or something, right? So this was like
Yeah.
super interesting, also challenging for the UI part, right? Because what happens? So you're building this workflow, right? And what happens, for example, if you add a node that doesn't work in call, right? So right now, okay, so right now it wouldn't do anything, but let's say it's actively deployed. So how I built it is, if it's actively deployed, there's like error states, right? Which was like a super interesting challenge in terms of UX. But I think we
What does actively deployed mean? Does it just mean that you enable it, or do you actually deploy it somewhere separately in a worker or something?
no, well we named it for now. Maybe this might change as well, but for now we named so deployment means it's active. So it's like
Okay.
in prod, even though this is not
Yeah.
prod. But so basically, you have like draft versions of workflows. This would be so it says no platform active, right? So that's it's not deployed. So you can tinker around with this. We might even add like a testing mode where you can test it internally, but it's not actively deployed into the chat experience or even more like for chat it's not really that important because it's only for employees, but for call system it's like once you hit call system, you hit deploy, it's going to immediately, if somebody calls the phone number, it's going to immediately be
Let's
able
have
to.
some like RBAC on that or something, so that just like any employee can just fuck up the call pipeline.
We have a role system in place. It's not yet hooked up to this, but it's going to be hooked up for sure. Yeah.
Makes sense.
Also, there's like safeguards, right? Where, for example, all of the I'm actually so for example, list email accounts, right? This is not allowed in phone. So there would be no way to like fuck it up. So there's like hard coded safeguards which should help with um, yeah with employees fucking it up basically. But obviously there might be things, right? For example, we might have an action that says delete context or something, and then this would be bad, right? If somebody fucks it up, the workflow
It, it's
runs and
it's kind of interesting. It's like a super quick detour because we're short on time this time. But like I've read this tweet where it's about basically everything where you have customization in a product immediately or like in the long term turns into agencyfication of the thing because customers are usually like lazy and at some point they just want you to build a thing. So I'm really looking forward to how that plays out with this app. Yeah,
I
just interesting.
I do think it's like, I think it's primarily, and we discussed this internally, but I do think this is a super technical feature, right? Like this UI also starts to scream at you pretty early on. Like
Yeah.
if you, for example, I add a node, I built it so you can add stuff and just tinker around, but you are not able to save or deploy, right? Obviously. So there's like error states which I don't think normal users, like your normie user, they won't be able to deal with this. I don't think. So it's going to be either like a course, right, where we sell courses to like onboard these people, which I think is good because it binds them to the product, kind of, right? It's basically like Excel courses, right, where uh, now you've spent so much time and money on these courses, now you better use the product, right? But obviously, like, is your normal user going to ever touch this? Probably not. I don't think.
I think that's like, I'm just interested how that plays out because I never really thought about that before. But I think there's a like valid argument that everything that has customization to a product slowly turns into, hey, please you do that for me, I pay you for it.
Yeah, but it's not even an issue, right? So that's also, it's kind of nice that we just have this platform even for ourselves, right? Because
Oh yeah, and
technically,
not it being a bad thing. Just
yeah,
like
yeah.
I'm just interesting if that actually, because I had never thought about it before, and I would like I think I immediately thought of this, and then I was like, okay, this will be an interesting case study how that plays out, right?
I'm super interested in usage stats for this. Like how many
Mhm.
people in a company use it, and also how do they use it, right? Because I would assume that there's probably going to be like one guy who cares about this, and or maybe
Yeah.
even gets assigned to this, right, internally, and then we have node properties. I would, for example, I could see how they have one guy setting up all the workflows, and then all the other employees kind of collaborate on them but not doing any breaking changes, right? It's like, I don't know, changing like the name, changing some values in the nodes or something. I could see that. um, but yeah, it's interesting for sure, because also this is like a starting point, right? But this could go anywhere really, where
I think it kind of looks nice and it looks boomerified, and they will probably not touch it, but they like to look at it, so it's dope.
yeah, it's like, it's, I think it's, I don't know, I'm not doing sales, but it seems like it's mostly kind of like a sales feature to me, which
Mhm.
I it's good, right? Like a
Yeah,
product should have something like that. um but yeah,
cool.
that's my week basically. I've been spending too long anyway, right? So I think, Asimov, do
Yeah,
you
can you
have
hear me, by
anything?
the way?
Yeah,
Are we live, by the way?
we're live, yeah.
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay. What do I have? That would be, I mean, my thing would be what we talked about last week. That actually sort of solidified the audio thing. So, wait, let me turn on my camera. I don't know if I have my camera on. Ba-da-ba-da-da-da.
Oh yeah, the audio thing is actually kind of cool.
Yeah.
I can just copy it.
So my audio is good, right? I haven't really checked my audio.
That's fine.
Yeah. Um, so I looked into the audio thing. And so the requirements for this was I wanted to have a way to reliably store audio locally um, for audio recording so that like if the upload fails or if the even if the recording is cut mid recording, we can like it's safe, like it's being streamed into reliable storage, etc. And I don't the solution that I ended up with was you can store the raw samples for an audio. So instead of turning the audio file into like a, an MP4, an MP3 or whatever, I would just take like the actual like raw samples, which is like the equivalent of like storing raw pixels in an image. I would take that and then I would compress it with gzip and store that in IndexedDB. And there was all gzip didn't cut it, so I used like another lossy type of compression. I forgot the name. I think it's B something. And and I had like a not like a
Like a bot lip or
basically I
what?
could
What is
increase.
what?
I think it's broccoli. It could be,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, something like that.
something like that. Yeah, maybe it's not broccoli. Maybe I mispronounced it, but you get what I
Yeah,
mean.
but yeah,
But
okay.
and I could like increase. I had like a not like a variable where I could like increase that variable to compress the audio harder, which would theoretically lose more quality, and then like move that nod up and down. And I was surprised. I like the final solution that I have now is again it's what I just described, and like you can record. I think you can record like 10 seconds of audio and it would be around 0.1 megabytes per 10 seconds. So like it would scale fine. And the storage mechanism that I ended up using was IndexedDB. And looking at the storage limits on IndexedDB across all of the browsers, at the lowest limit, the most the smallest amount of space allowed is on iPhone Safari, and that goes from 500 megabytes to 1 gigabyte depending on the state of the iPhone.
Does
And
it
this
have
could with
sessions? So like if your Safari crashes, it's still
yeah
there, right? Yeah, okay.
yeah. If you could lose your phone could turn off or whatever, like it could run out of battery and would still persist.
How was the
So that was
merging?
and
Because I was actually most impressed about the merging of audios, but probably it's not even
the
hard,
mo-
right?
yeah, because we're not using because we're storing raw pixels, quote unquote, or raw samples, you just add it on top, and
Uh-huh.
you don't even need to do
So
anything.
there's
It's
no
just literally
like
compressed.
media controller magic, right? It's
Yeah,
just okay,
nothing.
interesting.
Yeah, that would only be necessary if you were doing like MP4 or whatever, because they have their own formats, and like you have to attach the length at the beginning, so you have to change that
Mm-hmm.
and this, that, and the other. Whereas this is just like a stream of literally numbers, so
So
it's
you're
pretty nice.
basically you're not even using compressed data formats, right? It's literally just you're compressing raw data using this
Yeah, yeah,
Botley thing or whatever it's called, and
Brotli, I
then
yeah,
think. Brotli, right?
yeah,
From Google.
yeah.
Is it that one?
I believe so.
yeah,
Yes.
that's the only one that sounds like broccoli. So I think
Yeah. No, maybe I mispronounced gzip to broccoli, but yeah, it's probably that one.
yeah.
Um, and it turned out to be pretty good because I was sort of, and when I thought about this, I was skeptical because like, is this really gonna work well or whatever? But then I really tested it and it was pretty good.
I think the
So
only thing that needs to be fixed now is the upload, right? The upload, you
yeah,
need to check what's going wrong there, and then after this, it should be fine.
yeah, yeah. I don't think there was anything going wrong necessarily. I think it's because we
No,
were
we
just
had
uploading it in
issues.
like
We had
one.
issues though, like even with the file upload.
Yeah. I think it's because we don't have a retry mechanism or anything like that. We're
Mm,
literally just like one-shotting the upload.
yeah.
And so if you have a small internet failure and a 10-minute upload, you're cooked.
By the way, are we
I
uploading?
think.
Are we uploading via our server, or are we actually uploading via
No, no,
direct
no.
URL? Direct, right? Okay.
Direct URL
So
tester,
okay,
yeah.
then we just retry, right? In this step.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
All right. Is there
Cool.
anything else? No, not really, right?
No. I mean,
I
nothing
mean, we
worth
could talk
mentioning.
about poker, but I don't think we need to. We can do this another time.
Yeah, it will be a time
So what's this?
crunch.
Because we already talked about the
Cool.
Chinese thing. You can repeat it, but
Yeah, a quick repeat. I'm on a 6-day streak for Hello Chinese, learning Mandarin right now, trying to. So that's incredible fun. It's kind of nice. It's a nice app. I looked into it. It's supposed to be way better than Duolingo, and yeah, it's cool.
yeah,
So
Duolingo is hot garbage. It's not even for
yeah, it's just
language
gamified
release. Yeah,
bullshit. Like
exactly.
yeah, it's just gambling
It's to
basically.
make you feel good.
Yep. Yeah. And this is kind of
Why
fun, but it's still like, and I also have Skritter for the signs. So that's yeah, like.
Chinese in particular?
Because I kind of wanted to learn a new language, and then I just checked languages, and like I had like Spanish, Arabic, and Chinese, and Spanish obviously the best short-term trade-off, but then I think long-term like Arabic and like Chinese was the best, and I just found it intriguing, and my girlfriend is learning it too, so it's fun to like
Yeah.
practice together,
Yeah,
and
the
also
future
Chinese I
belongs
give
to
priority. Yeah.
Bro said the future belongs to China and the Ottoman Empire. He's like, long term, I think Arabic and Chinese is better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I think that's good. That's cool. I thought about it. There's
Chinese would be so fucking cool to be able to just speak Chinese. I'm gonna do it at some
that's
point
also
as well.
why I kind of wanted it, because imagine how cool it is when I'm in a restaurant with my girlfriend or something, and we can just like no one understands you.
Yeah, okay, that's
Dude,
kind of
that's- yeah, that's
that's
high
kind of
aura.
cringe though. You're
It's
not
kinda
gonna
That's
nice.
high
I like
aura. That's high aura.
I
There
could
was
I'd say.
in Russian. You could do it.
oh yeah, but I mean, I don't know if Russian is like as.
I mean, there's Chinese people.
Really?
I
But
think so.
are
Yeah.
most of the speakers like Asian, or are they even do Austrians
No,
really
nobody learns
speak? Or,
Chinese.
It looks horrible. Like my girlfriend had it a while ago, and back then it looked like shit. But now it looks actually
It's
decent.
fine,
And
honestly.
but you have to like my Rust LLM
I
framework.
think you can have.
It depends. Just some API, because there, for example, rig in Rust, but
Do you
basically
actually
like
add
this.
stuff?
The goal there is to not implement something just to have it in there. What I'm doing right now is I need something, and I'm building
An engineering team who doesn't release open source tools, something like that.
the Drizzle gen rewrite in Rust there.
But you still need JavaScript because you'd need file and getting the schema. Yeah, you need to run it, right? You need to.
Opus, but couldn't it just be
Yeah.
like static code analysis and then it generates?
A team has like I was just pointing it to a single. So I think if I switch to bun or whatever,
like
tables
one
that
or a few issues, right? But those are more Drizzle related than Drizzle gen related.
Yeah.
Where, for example, wrong, right? And like
yeah, those are like
this is
like database issues. Like some databases have like maximum. I think it's.
but
I don't
isn't
know
it
if
because
MySQL
Drizzle joins it so weirdly? Like
True. Yeah. It's like user author underscore ID.
Right?
Yeah. It just takes your.
You go ahead.
You can make a cloud code. Something like a pre-commit, like if it's just pipes to stand it out, you can just.
Also,
Yeah.
Editing my fucking Drizzle gen thing again.
Yeah, okay. That's like my testing file, but yeah.
Yeah. Decrease the bundle size by like one.
Yeah. There's like so many. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
There's like a lot of dependencies, but yeah.
But it's
that
fine.
don't need
It's
to be there.
dev dependency, right? It's also it's JS.
Yeah.
So who cares?
Yeah. Yeah. It runs in your CLI, not on the app.
I don't know why anybody uses Drizzle without it. What's going on
That's
here?
just a wild commit message. They were like.
Is this pre cheese? Like I write all my
Yeah, it's fun when you're done with something and you can just write what you. No, I actually don't think so, because like if you reminder, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, my commit messages are always, they are GMCI. So yeah, I
really don't want bad commit messages. You don't want commit, work.
messages are primarily, so if you don't
Yeah.
write them yourself, searching for something, right? You might remember, for example, okay, I used prefix test for this, for sure. Like, you might remember this.
That's like it's GMC, but if I do GMCI, that means interact.
Yeah, I'm using proprietary SMR aliases in
Yeah,
my
this one is not open. Corp.
GMCI is
Yeah.
AKS or not? Am I the only vibe coder who
Yeah, I
can't
did.
say
I
I
opened
brought
them in my.
I brought a like manual.
Okay.
where is it? Oh,
Here.
it's interesting. Okay. You'll have to explain
Can
this.
talk about that. Yeah.
Okay, I think I can start.
Yeah, because I'm pasting. It's already in my browser. I'm just gonna paste them into this so then you can start.
Yeah. So just to make this clear, I'm blue, right? I'm currently blue, where
Gotcha.
I'm not saying that I'm having a great deal of fun. It's more so the contrary. I'm right. I'm actually like, if I was coding normally right now, I think I would see an increase in quality and like skill, but I'm not doing that, and I'm trying to figure out this new way still, because I was kind of lagging behind. I'm just gonna be honest. When you were talking about coding like agents, Konstantin, I was not using agents. So I feel like I'm kind of lagging behind, but also I kind of am already off the agent train. Like, I just can't use them. Is like, I'm back to basically cursor chat pane, and I can show you what I'm doing. So usually these days I'm doing stuff like this, where if you check this out, this is like a client. This was an entire client task, right? I've never seen this HTML code. So this is HTML, email HTML, right?
How polite you are.
Yeah, I don't know. This is probably like, I don't. Yeah, I didn't even read what I wrote. But yeah, I'm just dumping, right? So I'm like, okay, I got a client task, and it's this email. I didn't work on the email originally, so it's like from some other dev or something, and I could not be bothered, right, to look at this email, because I don't know if you're familiar with like email HTML code. It's like horrible with tables and yeah. So
Yeah,
I
that
gave it
sucks.
this, and there was an issue, right, on Outlook where the image wouldn't load. So I just gave it this, and it just did the thing, and it took like 5 minutes, because it was a huge ass email. It burned like a bunch of tokens, but it gave me this test file, and I compared the two, and I hit done on the ticket, and it was done. So this was like 5 minutes. Obviously, I increased the time a bit on the ticket, but
15 hours.
no. I have
1
a
hour.
base. No, I have a base limit of like 30 minutes.
Everything below 30 minutes doesn't make sense.
Yeah, and
because
you
even
don't need to
30 minutes
invoice
is
15
slow.
minutes. But yeah, I think this is like super nice, and this is something I'm actually super happy about, because in the past I would have needed to. Obviously, I could have done like all the, but again, this was not notice.
Mhm.
So it's like I assumed that it was a PG. Another prompt. This is Lisa, by the way, and this is like the number one thing I use AI for in Lisa. I don't know if you're probably doing the same, right, SMR? Off, I'm just gonna, but for me it's mostly because I'm doing all of the UI. Be generated, right? So it's like, okay, put placeholder text for like headings and stuff, and then some of it AI does it the entire file, and my file, and now and
Exactly. To is it these tasks that you're presenting here?
and that's
Yeah, I'm
also
not saying you should
why
use Point of Flash. I use GPT-5, but I'm
yeah
just saying could it proceed with
theoretically,
Lisa?
right? Not
Yeah,
perfectly,
yeah.
but yeah.
Email HTML and provide delayed test email. Can you check this? Okay. Can you check this email HTML and give me normal image instead of the background image? Because this, yeah. So this is, I think, something that, especially with email HTML, it's never changed. So yeah,
And then the other
because it uses
thing is
very old.
just I love to use in VS Code. I'm not gonna use that. I'm just gonna be honest with you. I tried it out. It's I'm super happy with Cursor, to be honest. Because so here's the thing, right? I want to talk about this because here's what SMR would do in this case, and correct me if I'm wrong. But you would, to achieve this, right? You would pipe the entire file deployment model into T3 chat, copy paste, and
Yeah,
paste it back into the file. And I think this is insane. Like whenever I see it, because I have changes, right? I can check if it did anything like that. It might, right? Who knows? It might
yeah,
fuck up,
yeah.
like it might return early. It might also sometimes a perfect example because I think it even changed the styles later on.
Okay.
So yeah, exactly. Check this out. Later on,
For the love on and pain.
text in another file and do the same thing. And what it did was fucking translation keys, right? So GPT-5 non-thinking, it doesn't do. But then you would need to run the git diff on every single time you. It's also
Like,
because it's a UI thing again, right? Because it's fucking AI changes the text color again, and it's like
also a UI thing. Running a quick git diff or just a lazy git or whatever. For me,
I
it's just
agree,
reading
but,
through the
but
flow of
I
text.
would. You can blindly trust it. I sometimes. An agent thing. For example.
Yeah. So
Yeah, go ahead.
I have a particular way I like writing my code, and I write it. And I'm also, I'm super. Intent, and then I just write the code. Like the backend code, I really don't logical or backend. I have. But the way I use it for front end, and I have examples, I'll get to that. But the way I use
You see this as an issue.
for the most, yeah,
Changes it again, right? I think that's.
for the yeah for the well, when I made this decision, Claude, I don't think was out. It was just Cursor. NeoVim over like Emacs. It's because I just want something that I can find. The reason I picked a chat app over like Cursor back then was because my thing was if I pick Cursor, I first of all I'm using beholden to Cursor. If in the future move away, you know what I mean? And that didn't happen. Cursor
There's lots of examples. Complete also in NeoVim, right? This is it.
writing, and then it feels like an interruption. It feels like I'm being interrupted.
And I can see the
It's
point,
a
but for
different
me,
mindset. I think I reached.
it was
this.
exactly the same.
I-
It's just annoying.
So, I'm just okay with. Why?
For me, it's kind of it makes it easy to be sloppy. Think about it, and then it just suggests you something.
Say, but I think it's really thinking differently about. Like you just, I feel like I have more brain. there's no, like,
Think
I
of
don't
atrophy
need
though?
to think about syntax.
Nice, I think.
Jesus. Is this
Um,
yours?
the point
Yeah,
there
that's
is to separate code generation and then use my agent. If I want to write myself, there's probably a good reason I'm writing that code myself and not generating it. And if there's a good reason I'm writing the code myself, I don't want anyone to interfere. I think the best, imagine, and that's also like parallelization we can talk about next time. Imagine you have a like junior working with you, right? And then you're co-working or like pair programming, and you can send him off with tasks. But then you're working on something really, really hard, right? Or something junior sitting next to you and you're writing and he's always like, oh, just type this. Oh, why don't you type this? Oh, you should type it. It would like, dude, shut the fuck up, let me do my thing, and then we can talk about it. And I think it's exactly the same thing with AI.
Yeah, I don't know, to be honest. I think it might again, and I think this is also why this entire diagram might be completely misleading. I think so. For example, there is one guy on X, which I think we talked about it with I talked about it with SMR. This guy, I don't know if you know him. He's the remix man, and he tweets about writing Remix 3, vibe coding Remix 3, and then cleaning it up. I think this is fundamentally weird. Like I don't really want to use Remix because of that. But that just might be me. I'm not saying people should not use it or anything. I think it's weird because I would assume somebody who's a framework author, right, is this, and he's like there, right? But he's like, that's what I would assume. And then there's me, right? Who I write mostly non-critical code. The worst thing that could happen is something like Cloudflare issue where, it's like a use effect and it takes on. But this doesn't happen to me. I'm not like, because I'm testing. Like when I build something front-end related or even full stack feature, I'm testing it, right? So I'm checking re-renders. Like it's not going to happen. It might happen in localhost environment, but it's not going to make it to prod. So I don't see a reason why I wouldn't use this performance gain of just going tap, 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 cleaning it up. Because it's just preference, right? It feels like, okay, you might not like it, but it's, for me personally, I'm like 5x faster.
But
If I was
just
to
a quick
type
question.
it all
Why wouldn't
myself,
you just why wouldn't you just like write comments
pre-generate,
what you want to do, send
what
off
are
a
you
prompt and get a coffee?
I don't like that.
Like why
I
why
don't
would
like
you
that at
why
all.
would you tap?
I don't like that. I hate that.
what are you tab completing though? Are you tab completing JSX or database requests? Like in general, what type of code
I don't
are you
really
tab
like to
completing?
use tab complete on Drizzle, for example, because it doesn't work.
Yeah.
So I'm also toggling it on and off, by the way. So for example, JSX,
Gotcha.
HTML mostly, it's all tab completed, and then I clean it up, right? Also,
Oh,
I clean not.
okay.
It's not even then I clean it up. I'm the complete opposite of you guys, where I want to have, and that's why I want to have AI. That's why I like tab completion, right? I want it to
Yeah.
kick in, and then I see it, and I immediately change if it's ass. So it's basically like I read it, I judge it, and if it's good or decent, I keep it. If not, I'll immediately change it. And
So it's more of like
it really is like,
you
it does
truly
feel
are
like pair
working.
coding to me. I don't treat it
Yeah,
as a
working with
truth,
the AI,
right?
truly.
It's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I see it as, okay, this is an option, and I obviously have an
Phil is
option in mind, right?
so AI pilled. It's crazy. He's becoming the AI evangelist out of us three.
No, I don't think.
Crazy.
I think this, and tab completion has been around for way longer than agent coding, right? So
Yeah.
I think, and I started doing even, I don't know, what was it, tab 9. That's when I started using tab completion. This was years ago. I don't even know how long. 4 years? I don't know.
Yeah.
So I'm like just completely. I talked about it yesterday with SMR where I was like, if I'm on a train and I'm coding, I have this like you go through a tunnel, right? And if the connection cuts off for like 1 minute and you're typing, do you guys notice when? I don't know if you actually do know it, but when the like the tab completion stops working and you're just like you're there waiting for like it's like a 3-second
Does
wait pause.
does Constantine even
No.
use? I don't know
You
if
guys
Constantine even uses
both of
tab
you don't
completion,
use it, right? So it's
Nope.
yeah, but it's
Yeah.
it's excruciating, right? Because it also like it's humbling also if you're just like sitting there and
Mm.
you're waiting for like this tab autocomplete. Obviously, I'm gonna continue on, right? It's not an issue, but it's like
Yeah.
you are actively waiting for it, and it's weird if it doesn't.
Yeah. Even Ryan Florence has made that comment as well. Like he was like streaming. I think he was making a video on Twitter about like some remake example, and he's like, ever since Cursor, I just wait for the tab autocomplete. Please, next token. He's like, he's vocally begging Cursor to generate. He's like, yes, and he presses tab. It's funny as hell.
It also
yeah.
is like it's like
But don't you feel like atrophy?
yeah, that's
Um,
that's what I
Phil,
was- that's what this is, right?
That's what the plateau means.
But I do feel like it. I do think that even and here's where I think fundamentally disagree. I do think even reading bad code and recognizing it as bad code is good.
Yeah, it's crazy. I think that's a good point where I can head off and get my burger and
Yeah, we can
this banger.
you can head off, and also SMR we can just continue next week, right? Or do you want to continue?
Yeah, no, we can continue next week. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Also for next week, maybe we can get like Mazia on, talk a little bit of like about splashes, Gaussian splats
I mean,
and stuff.
we don't
I think
need
we
to
could finish
talk
this.
about.
We could.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of interesting. I want to hear what like SMR does, and I think there's also some interesting stuff in the manual I put there. But we could do something like we limit it to half an hour or something, and then Mazia comes on.
Yeah, exactly. Let's just
Yep.
talk about it for like 20 minutes, 30 minutes, and then we can wrap this up. I want to get to this question, which you kind of teased right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, boys. Gonna head out.
See you. Bye.
All right. See ya. Peace out. All right. We ended